Alright, in this video I want to talk about this certain trap that I call the anxiety dream. And it's not so much a dream as it is this waking dream, where it feels like you're in a dream that you can't get out of. And what this is that there may be a time where, let's say when you were younger, that you received some kind of trauma and now you have PTSD, even though it's not actually diagnosed. Who cares? You have it and you know it, and probably everybody around you probably realizes it, but everybody ignores it. So sometimes you'll have anxiety because let's say, let's think of something simple here. Let's say when you were a teenager and you started dating somebody and they cheated on you, right? And then you started dating somebody when you were a young adult and they cheated on you too. And now you've got this paranoia and it's hard for you to trust the opposite sex because they kept cheating on you, right? Now this is not one of the more serious things that would cause PTSD, but it would still cause something that would create anxiety. Because then you might get with somebody and then you see signs of possible cheating. Even though they haven't done anything like the past people, they've been very open and honest and dedicated to you, and there's no reason to doubt them. But there could be something that just pops up that triggers a memory of what the past person did or past people did that had to deal with cheating, right? Maybe seeing a website search or an article of clothing or something, right? And what would happen is it trigger something within you, right? Sometimes it could be something they said, right? You're talking to them, whether in person or on the phone or texting, emailing, whatever it may be. And they said something and it sticks with you and you start to think, I don't know if I can trust them. I think they might be cheating on me. And this is where you get caught in this little dream thing, right? Because it's good to be alert and aware and protect yourself. But sometimes what happens is that you start to think this irrationally because you're afraid it's going to happen. Not that there's any true evidence that it's going to happen, but you're afraid that it's going to happen because it happened before. And now you get stuck in this dream where you're telling yourself they've already cheated or they're going to cheat. And now your mind starts saying, okay, let's replay all of our conversations. Let's replay all the things that they've done. And let's now use everything they've said and done to justify what I believe here about them cheating on me. So you start taking everything they've ever said and done, that you can remember anyway, and you start applying it to them being a cheater, right? And then the person may have never cheated on you, never even thought about it, but you're in your head worried about it happening, so you create it in your own mind. And this is where a problem could happen, because now you could basically judge them and condemn them and basically saying they're guilty till proven innocent instead of innocent till proven guilty. And you don't actually have any evidence. It's more of you having anxiety and fear of it, where you start taking everything to try to apply it and justify your fear. And then it can cause a rift in the relationship. Right? It cause a problem to keep you separated or to get you separated, cause a fight, right? And it is all done based on what I'm calling this dream, because you get stuck in this false reality in your head that's not real, right? You're stuck in this daydream thinking, oh, this is going to happen, and then you start piling evidence for this false reality in your mind. right? And oftentimes, when you actually talk about the issue in a calm manner, you realize that there's no evidence to believe what you believe, that it was all just fear, right? You were worried about it happening, so you started preparing yourself for it to have already happened or about to happen. So you wanted to protect yourself. But it was just like a trauma response. There wasn't a real threat. It was more of a worry about there being a threat, right? And then once you actually talk about it, you're actually able to come out of the dream and realize what it was. And then you're able to then defeat the anxiety because you realize it wasn't even real. You got scared that it was a possibility, and then you started feeding fuel to the fire. And then as you kept it to yourself, the fire just kept feeding and feeding and feeding, getting bigger. And the longer that you just kept it to yourself, the fire just got bigger. And all along, the other person that you're in a relationship with doesn't have an idea of what's going on. They don't know that you're going through this and that there's an issue, there's a problem, right? Because you're holding it in, but inside you're looking at them as if there's something wrong with them. They're a cheater. You don't trust them anymore, and they're just like, they might think, hey, you might be a little weird today, right? And then the problem can come in here where no matter what the person says or does, you've already labeled them a cheater, right? So you accuse them of cheating on you, and they're like, what are you talking about? And then anything they say and do, you use it to apply to justify them being a cheater, even though it doesn't apply, right? So it doesn't matter what they say or do. If they even stay quiet because they're just thinking, well, maybe I just need to let you vent about this. There's no point in defending myself because everything I say and do, you twist it to make it sound like I did something I didn't. So they just let you talk, and then because they're silent, you use that to say that they're guilty as well, right? And so that's where, the big problem can come in. When you're in this dream, a good thing to do is to interact with somebody else. And then you may start to realize that you're in this dream and it's not reality, and you're able to wake up from it and break free. But it tends to be the longer that you sit on it, the bigger the fire gets and the bigger the problem gets, right? So I just want to make this quick video here to talk about it, because we might know someone who goes through this, or we might have gone through it ourselves. And sometimes we just need to slow down and to pray and ask God for help. Ask God to protect us from ourselves, to protect others from ourselves, and ask Him to guide us. And sometimes we just need to, call people out. Like if somebody said something that bothered you or offended you, especially if you're in a close relationship with them, sometimes you need to call them out on it so that you can work it out and be like, well, why did you say this or do that? Right? And sometimes you explain to them why, and they go, oh, they understand. Or maybe you realize, yeah, you probably shouldn't have said it or done it, and right? But if you talk to somebody about something they said or done and they get all defensive and mad about it, that's not healthy either. Because even if they didn't do anything wrong and they're just upset that you're accusing them, they're not being very thoughtful of you, that you might just be going through an anxiety phase. Like they need to slow down themselves to understand that you might be going through something yourself, even though they might get mad that you're accusing them of something they didn't say or do. But if they're not willing to take the time to understand why you thought such a thing or believe such a thing, well, that's going to cause a hindrance in the relationship as well, right? If they don't realize that you have anxiety or anxiety attacks and why you have them, then yeah, that's gonna cause a problem down the road there. So, thank you for your time and attention. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.